So now moving on to making the head of the bunny, we will make a magic ring. So wrap your yarn around your fingers, or you can make your magic ring wherever you want. Pull up a loop and chain 1. Into that ring you're going to put 6 single crochet. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let me just redo that last one. And remember, we are using our 3.5mm crochet hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now you're going to pull on your tail end to close that circle up. So now that you have done so, you are going to go ahead and you are going to insert your hook into the first stitch and make 2 double crochet. Make sure that you use your stitch marker to mark your first stitch. Go back into that same stitch and make another double crochet, and into each and every stitch around you will put 2 double crochet, and that should equal a total of 12 double crochet at the end. So continue doing that and I'll see you at the end of row 2. So now I have come to the end of row 2 here. I'm going to remove my stitch marker. I have a total of 12 stitches. Make sure you count them back so that you have your 12. Now into that first stitch you're going to put 1 double crochet, and then into the next stitch you are going to put 2 double crochet. So that's 1, go back into that same stitch and make 2. Into the next stitch you're going to put 1. So the sequence for row 3 is 1 single crochet and then 2 single crochet in the next stitch, and then 1 single crochet, and repeat the same thing right around. You should have a total of 18 stitches at the end. So now I have come to the end of row 3 and I have a total of 18 stitches. Removing my stitch marker, moving on to row 4, you're going to put 1 double crochet. Remember to use your stitch marker to mark that first stitch. And then into the next stitch you're going to put 1 double crochet. And then into the third stitch you will put 2 double crochet in that same stitch. So the sequence for row 4 is 1 1 double crochet and then 2 in the next stitch. You should have a total of 24 stitches at the end of row 4. So I'll see you there. So now I have come to the end here of my row 4. And I have 1 stitch remaining, and I'm going to put 2 double crochet in that stitch. Remove your stitch marker. Moving on to row 5, you are going to put 1 single crochet in 3 stitches and then 2 together. You should have a total of 30 at the end of row 5. So that's 1, 2, and 3, and then 2 together. 1, 2, 3, 2 together. So continue doing that and I'll see you at the end of row 5, which you should have a total of 30 stitches. So now I have come to the end of row 5 here and I have 1 stitch remaining, which I will put 2 double crochet. You will always end with actually 2 double crochet in the same stitch. So now moving along to row 6. Remember, you should have a total of 30 in row 5. Moving on to row 6, you're going to remove your stitch marker and you're going to put 4 double crochet in separate stitches, and then you're going to put 2 double crochet in the next. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now you're going to put 2 in the next. 1 and 2. Now you're going to count 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then 2 in the next. Then continue doing that same thing right around, and I will meet you at the end of row 6, where you should have a total of 36 stitches. So now I have come to the end of row 6 and I have 1 stitch remaining, which I'm going to make my last 2 double crochet. Brings it to a total of 36 stitches. So it doesn't hurt to count back your work to make sure that you have your correct stitch, because you don't want to have too much stitch or less stitch. So now moving on to row 7, you will do 5 single crochet in each stitches, and then into the 6th stitch you will put 2 double crochet in that stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. In the 6th stitch you will put 2 double crochet in that stitch. Continue doing that right around and I'll see you at the end. So now I have come to the end of row 7 and this is what it looks like so far. So moving on to row 8, we will now be doing 1 single crochet into each stitches around, so we won't do any more increases. And you're going to do that up to row 15. So from row 8 to 15 will be 1 single crochet in each stitches around. So make your first one here. Remember to use your stitch marker so you don't lose your stitch. And you're going to continue making your single crochets right around, and I will meet you at the end of row 15. You will notice that your work starts to curve in. That's the head starting to take on that shape. So I'm just going to continue doing that and I'll meet you there. So now I have come to the end of row 15 and I still have my 42 stitches. So moving on to row 16, we will now be doing decreases. So this is what the head looks like so far. So we'll be doing some decreases to close the head up together like that. So now we will be making 5 single crochets and then decrease in the next. So mark your first stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then 2 single crochet, 2 decreases, and you're going to do your decrease into the front loop. So that's pulling up 1, going to the front loop of the next stitch and pull up like that. So this is called the invisible decrease. So now you have 3 loops on the hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through all 3. So you can see it there. Now you are going to go into the next stitch and make 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 3, 4 and 5. So I'm just going to show it to you again how to do the decrease. Insert your hook into the front loop, pull up a loop, insert your hook again into the next loop beside that one, pull up a loop. Now you have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. And that's another decrease right there. So you're going to continue doing that right around, and I will meet you at the end. So now I have come to my last 2 stitches here, which I will be doing my last decrease. And that completes row 16. Moving on to row 17, and you should have a total of 36 stitches for row 16. Moving on to row 17, we will do 4 single crochets into each stitches. I should say 1 single crochet into each stitches, so that is equal to 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then you will do a decrease into the next. So you're going to continue doing this right around, doing 4 single crochets in separate stitches and then 2 together, and then you're going to continue doing that until you get back to this side, and I will meet you there. You should have a total of 30 stitches remaining after row 17. So now I have come to the end of row 17, and moving on to row 18. So at the end of row 17 you should have 30 stitches remaining. Moving on to row 18, now we will be doing 3 single crochet into separate stitches. That's 1, 2, and 3, and then 2 together. 1, 2, yarn over and pull through. So continue doing that right around, and I will see you at the end of this row here. So you should have a total of 24 stitches in row 18. So now I have come to the end of row 18, and I have 24 stitches remaining. So before we move on to row 19, I'm just going to pull up on this yarn here. And I went ahead and I placed my eyes. So what I did, I count from the first row here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So in between 12 and 13, I placed one of the eyes, and then you're going to count 6 stitches in between, and then you're going to put your next eye at the 7th stitch right there. So I am going to place my eyes. And before you put the safety back on the eyes, make sure that they are in the place where you want them to be. So you can see it there. And what I'm going to do now, I have a nose as well. So I am just going to place that here to see how well that looks. So I'm not going to cover it as yet. So I'll probably put it down a little bit more instead of having it so close to the eye. Yeah. So I will leave it right there. So that would be, this is 13, 14, so in between 15 and 16 here. So that's where I put the nose. So now I will just let the safety back on. So now you can go ahead and add some stuffing inside, so you can see how the head is forming nicely. So you can see it there. And then moving along, so from row 19 to row 21, you'll still be doing decreases. Row 21 will be your last and final row, and we have just done 3 regular single crochets and 1 decrease. Now moving on to row 19, you will do 2 single crochet in separate stitches and then a decrease. So I will put the information on the screen so that you'll be able to see it, and you can stuff while you go along. If it is gonna be a bit challenging for you if you stuff afterwards, but make sure that you start to stuff your head from now. So I'm going to continue doing this, and I'll meet you at row 21. So now I have come to the end of row 21, and I did all decreases right around, so I have only 6 stitches remaining. So we are done using the hook. So what we will do now is we will fasten off. So you can leave a long tail because you will need that to sew your head down, or if you want to glue your head down, you can do that as well, so that is more quicker and easier. So I'm just gonna do 1 there, remove my stitch marker. And if you want to add more stuffing now, if your head feels as if it needed more stuffing, you can go ahead and use the tip of your yarn to put the stuffing inside, but I have enough in my head, so it's good. So now what I'm gonna do is I am just gonna go and do some basic stitches to close the bottom of the head up. So all I'm doing is just going into stitches like this. Go back on this side. And then give it a tie. And that completes the head of the bunny. I'm just going to fasten off. And now we are okay, so don't do that. Don't fasten off. Leave your yarn onto your bunny, because now I would have to reattach this yarn. So it's best to leave it on. So I'm just going to put that down. So this is what the head looks like so far. So it's looking super cute once we start to add the ears and the arms to it. So now we are going to move on to making the arm. So this is what the arm looks like. I went ahead and I did one of the arm and also one of the ear. So I will be showing you how to put it together. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the color, and then I change afterwards. So let us begin making the ear. So to make the ear, you will start off by making a magic ring rather. So insert your hook, pull up a loop, and chain 1, and into the ring you will make 5 single crochet. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now that you have made your 5 single crochet, you're going to pull onto the tail end and close that up. Moving on to row 2, you will make 1 single crochet into this first stitch here. Technically you'll be putting 2 single crochet in that stitch. So that's the first one. So you should have a total of 10 single crochet in row 2. So that's 1 and 2. So continue doing that right around and put in 2 single crochet in each stitches, and I'll meet you back at the end. So now moving on to row 3, you'll remove your stitch marker and you will do 1 single crochet and then 2 in the next. 1 and then 2 single crochet in the next stitch. 1 and 2. So that is going to be the sequence for row 3, 1 single crochet and then 2 single crochet in the next. You should have a total of 15 single crochet at the end. So now I have come to the end of row 3 and I have my total of 15 stitches. Now moving on to row 4. So from row 4 to row 6 you will do 1 single crochet in each stitches around, and you should have a total of 15 single crochet at the end of your rows. So continue doing that and I'll see you at the end of row 6 and I'll show you what to do next. So now I have come to the end of row 6 and this is what it looks like. So moving on, we will now change our color. So I am going to slip stitch into this stitch here and fasten off. So now that we have done so, we are going to attach our white yarn. So you can do it here or wherever else, but I'm gonna do it at another part. So I'm gonna start it here. So I'm gonna attach my yarn, chain up 1, and that chain 1 here is going to count as my first stitch. So now I am going to go into the other stitches and make 1 single crochets right around, we're just tucking these tail end inside. And into our last stitch here, and we are going to continue making single crochets. So it's going to be a little bit difficult to get into that chain 1 that we did. Okay, so I am there. Let me just pull that out for a little bit. I'm gonna go back in there. Okay, so that marks our first stitch for the next round. So row 7 and 8 will be 1 single crochet in each stitches around. So now we're moving on to row 8 now. So we just did row 7, so now we're gonna do row 8. So you're going to continue doing that 1 stitches around, and I will meet you at the end. So now I have come to the end of row 8, and this is what our work looked like so far. So moving on to row 9, we will be doing some decreases. So you're going to insert your hook and you're going to make 1 single crochet. Use back your stitch marker. And then into the next 2 stitches you'll be doing decrease. So just as we were doing with the head, we're going to do the decrease just the same. And then one single crochet. So you're going to continue doing that right around, making 1 single crochet and then a decrease, 1 single crochet, then a decrease. You should have a total of 10 single crochet remaining. So I will see you at the end. So now I have come to the end of row 9, and I have 10 stitches remaining. Now moving on from row 10 to row 18, we will be doing 1 single crochet in each stitches around. So that's my first one there. So continue doing that and I'll see you at the end of row 18. So now I have come to the end of making the arm here, and I have my 18 rows. So moving along, what you will do is you will leave a long tail so you can use that to sew your work. So I'm just going to chain 1 to fasten off. Remove my stitch marker, and you can go ahead and make your next arm. So now I have both arms here. And you can add a little bit of stuffing, not a lot, and use your hook end to guide it in. So you just want to have a little yarn into this part here, so it's kind of have a little bit of firmness to it. Okay, so that is it. So now we are going to move on to making the ears, and this will be our last and final thing to do. So to make our ears, you will make a magic ring. Chain 1, and then you're going to put 6 single crochet into the ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now that you have your 6 single crochet, you are going to pull onto your tail end, pull that in, and moving along you will put 2 single crochet into each and every stitches around, you should have a total of 12 single crochet remaining at the end. So remember to use your stitch marker to mark your first stitch. Go back into that same stitch and make another one. So I'm going to continue doing that right around, and I'll see you at the end of row 2. So now I have come to the end of row 2. Moving on to row 3, we will remove our stitch marker and you will make 1 single crochet into your first stitch there. Use your stitch marker to mark that stitch, and then into the next stitch you will do 2 single crochet. You should have a total of 18 single crochet at the end of row 3. So 1, then 2 together, then 1, then 2 together, and continue doing that right around. So I'll see you at the end. So moving on to row 4, we have now finished row 3 and we have our 18. So now you are going to do 5 single crochet. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then 2 in the next. So that is going to be the sequence for row 4. 5 single crochet and then 2 single crochet in the next stitch. Continue doing that and you should have a total of 21 stitches. So now I have come to the end of row 4 and I have my 21 stitches. So make sure that you count to make sure that you have your 21 stitches around. You're going to remove your stitch marker, and now from row 5 to row 8 you will do 1 single crochet in each stitches around. So remember to mark your first stitch and continue doing that. So I will see you at the end of row 8. So now I have come to the end of row 8. Moving on to row 9, we will do 5 single crochet and then a decrease. So you should have a total of 18 stitches remaining. So that's 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then 1 decrease, and you're going to repeat that right around, and I will meet you at the end. So 5 single crochet and then a decrease. Continue doing that same sequence. So now I have come to the end of row 9 and I have my 18 stitches remaining. Moving on to row 10. So from row 10 to 13 you will do 1 single crochet in each stitches around. So you're going to continue doing that, and I'll see you at the end of row 13. And you will still have 18 stitches remaining. So now I have come to the end of row 13. So moving on to row 14, we will do 4 single crochet in each stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 4 single crochet in separate stitches, so I don't want you to get it confused. So you'll do 1, 2, 3, and 4 in separate stitches, and then you will do a decrease in the next. So you should have a total of 15 single crochet at the end of row 14, and then from row 15 to row 24 you will do 1 single crochet right around. So I'll put that on the screen so you can see. So I will see you at the end of row 24. So guys, now I have come to my last stitch here, and I have completed row 24. So all I'm gonna do now is I am gonna fasten off, just leave a long tail so we can sew our ears down. Let's chain 1. So there it is. This is our first one here and the second ear. So now what we're going to do is we are going to get the head and we're going to sew the ears down. So let me get my needle. I'm just going to pull this. And slip stitch there, and we're gonna sew down the ears just like this. It's like pulling it together. So you're going into each stitches on both sides. And now that we have done so, we are going to line the head up and we are going to attach the ears. So count from 1, 2, 3, and in between 3 and 4 here, that's where we are going to attach the ears. So what you can do is you can get a pin to hold it down so that it stays in place, and then go ahead and sew down your ear. So you're going to do it just like this. Now, however you feel comfortable in sewing your ears onto the head of the bunny, you can do so. So I'm just going to continue doing this, and I'm going to sew down both ears, but make sure that you use your pin so that your ears stays into place. So now I am through sewing both my ears on and looking at my bunny looking all cute. So what you're going to do is you're just going to weave in the tail end just by going into the head and put in the needle wherever. Just pull it through the sides wherever, and then you can go ahead and cut the remaining off. So now that we have done sewed down the ear of the bunny, now we are going to move on to sewing down the arm on the blanket. So we're going to stitch these together just as we did when we were doing the ear. So stitch both sides together. So now what you're going to do is you're going to place your arm like this. So just at the outer part here of the circle, like that. And then the head is going to go into the middle. So you can use a pin to hold down your ears, and then just do basic sewing just as we did before. So I'm just going to continue doing that, doing my sewing. So as I stated, you're just doing basic in and out sewing to get the arm sewed down on the blanket. Okay, so now that one is all sewed down. So I'm just gonna go under and kind of weave in my tail underneath so that it does not come loose. You can give it a tie to have it all secured. Be careful of the pin so that it does not stick you. And then fasten off. And you're going to do the same thing with this arm. So I'm just going to do that off camera and I'll meet back up with you. So now you can see our little bunny here on top. So I just put the head like this so you can see it. So we are now going to sew the head down onto the blanket here, and we're gonna kind of sew it where it's a bit tilt. So we're not gonna completely sew like this, but a bit tilt like this. So I hope you can see that. So it's looking all cute. So I'm just gonna turn it towards me, and I am gonna go underneath my blanket here. I'm just gonna insert my needle. And what you can do to have your head into place, you can use the pins to help you, to guide you where to sew, so that your head does not shift. And you're just going to do the same type of sewing as you were doing before when you were sewing down the arm. So you can see I attach down the points of the head. So I'm just going to go back in, and I'm kind of going underneath the head like this. So I hope you can see that well. And I'm going to go back down. I'm going to go on the other side. Just pick up a little part of the bottom of the head and sew that down. So you can see this part is already down. So I'm going to continue doing that right around, and I'll meet back up with you. So guys, now I have come to the end of making my bunny, and I installed the head, and I also put a little bow here. I will link the video to make the bow next to this one, so you can learn how to make it. So I think that this bunny blanket turned out pretty well. I hope that you love this tutorial, and I hope that you'll be able to make one of your own. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, bye.